it, because I got a bit annoyed with the bottom, and I remember Catherine going, it's quite clumpy at the end, isn't it? So what I've done is I've made a ring like that, and basically, I don't know if you can tell with all the colour going on.
You can.
Yeah, can you tell?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut the rest of those off. What I've done is I've done them one at a time. So
yes.
If you cut them all off, then it'll all just go like that all over the place. So what I did was I put the ring on, put it on that one, then that one, snip, snip. That one, then that one, snip, snip.
Yeah.
See what I mean as we're going along.
And have you just left two in place?
Yeah, I'm going to cut them off now.
Oh, right, okay.
Morning, Soaping.
I'll let you do it first.
We hadn't started. We were just chatting. We were just doing troubleshooting.
Oh, it's not even time yet, is it? It's 9.
We've got a minute, but I know that Sonia's not joining us today, and I know that
What
Jenny.
did we wait?
No Sonia and no Jenny today. So I think we're just waiting for Catherine.
Catherine, yeah.
Got another hare story. When I was in the cadets, we were on our way, very early start, on our way to Greenham Common for an air show.
Yeah.
This is long before all the cruise missiles and stuff. This was for an air show. And we were in bus, and it was one where we still had the bench seats along the back, you know, on either side. And we were all in the back, almost fast asleep, because it was only about 4 o'clock in the morning, when all of a sudden the guy driving slammed the brakes on. Everybody slid forwards, and this press of bodies, I ended up facing forwards, and it was a hare right in the middle of the lane, and it was there, and it was looking back at us, and then it would go forwards a few yards, a few dozen yards, and stop, but still in the middle of the lane, and look back at us again. And we kept creeping forwards behind this bloody hare before it finally decided it had tormented us enough and disappeared into a field.
Usually they run a mile and they go straight uphill as fast as they can, don't they, hares?
And this one was just taking the mickey, I think.
Taking the mickey, yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to take this off now, it's too warm.
I think we can get started now, Mel, because it's 10 o'clock. So.
Okay. Well, maybe Catherine will. She's usually quite prompt, but.
So maybe she's going to catch up on the video.
Yeah. Well, if it's recording anyway, she can have a look, can't she? Because this bit's for you, Catherine. You're saying that. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our second session. Getting off. So what we were basically, I've done some more work on what we were doing, and I'm going to show you how I've moved those things around there. But first, at the bottom, I want you to make a donut, and we kind of know how to make a donut. It's the same process that we used before. I can see this table's going to be annoying. So, round and round like that, bend it over, make it into that shape. Then what I want you to do is get a hold of either side, take one, then the other, snip, snip, take one, then the other, snip, snip. In fact, snip it first. Where's my snippers? So, to show you, because I've not done it all the way around, I didn't want to just do it all in front of camera because that would become a bit boring. Cut it a little bit further down because it's going to sort of spring out a little bit. So, there we go. There's that one cut. So that one's going to go there. Get me tape, and you can get tape. Obviously, this is quite thick. You can get it half that thickness, or you can cut it by just. Did you scalpel it along there and then? Basically, just scalpel it and then do one side. Yeah. That way you get,
I stuck it on the table like you did
And then-
last week, and then just
and
cut
then
it
cut it.
lengthways.
yeah, either way works. Quite often it's good that way as well, you know, with a scalpel. You can buy them smaller, but I think they're the same price, so you might as well just cut them. So anyway, here we go. Where's that other piece? There. There it is. Where's it gone? There. So this piece that's loose, it's a shame, the background's a bit distracting, isn't it? But hopefully you can see. What I'm doing is I'm doing it diagonally one way, and it might be a bit easier with a smaller piece. Then I forgot to stick a few on the table, so I'm going to do it diagonally the other as well. Can you hear me okay? Am I muttering? Hear me fine?
Fine. Yeah.
Right. So then you've done it one way, and take it, twiddle it round. Sometimes it's good to just do that and make a little crease in it as you're going along. Crease it backwards and forwards. Then you've got a little bit of extra showing at the end, that piece there. So I'm going to snip that off. So now it's time. So you can see they've just got along there and along there left. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to cut it right to that edge because it's going to spring forward and then it's going to be outside the actual cage. So I'm going to go further down about there. There we go. And then that sort of springs back to the shape. Get some more tape. Stick it on like this. So we've got that shape there. I'm going to wrap it slightly. Zhuzh it a bit there. Zhuzh is my new word. Just zhuzh it round one way and then diagonally round the other way. Zhuzh it a bit. You used to be able to get tape like this that was crinkly. I don't know if you can get it anymore, but because it's crinkly, what you can do is you can kind of move one side of it and it ends up being more flexible. But I think it's one of those expensive little gimmicks that probably, you know, went a bit out of fashion. Right, and then do it the other way around, like so. And then you get rid of all your big plasters that are all over the place, hopefully, and just limit it to one or two. Right, off you go. Obviously, be careful of your fingers through all of this. Come here. There we go. So now you can see that I've just got that one left that runs through that way. So what I'm going to do is cut it again. You've seen it before, you know what happens. Cut it and then it springs back a little bit. Cut some more tape out. Oh, you know that place we were talking about, somebody said, where do you get your willows from? And where do you get your tissues from? Musgrove Willows in the Somerset Flats or whatever it is. So it's just musgrovewillows.co.uk. But you could search out quite a few. You can get all sorts from there. It's basically a willow lantern and fence making kind of place.
I've just put it in the chat for anyone that's interested.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have shares with them, so I won't be getting paid for this sort of commentary. I hope they're grateful. So there we go. That's that one cut. And now we've just got the last little one, which is just there, that I'm going to cut off. So, as usual, one side. It's quite funny, the Musgrove Willows place it's in a. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Sophie, but all Cornish places, if they're real, seem to have a Z in the name. So it's. I can't remember. Can you find what it's called? It's called something.
Oh, let's have a look.
Quite funny. Sistershire or something like that.
Who knew they were Polish?
And a few J's as well in it, yeah.
Oh yeah, Western Zoyland.
That's it.
Western Zoyland, Bridgewater, Somerset.
That sounds Dutch.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Zoyland, yeah, because they often have a land at the end, don't they? Zoyland. So what we've got there, something neat for Catherine, yeah, rather than a big blob at the end. Doesn't matter if you have got a big blob because you can kind of cover it with tissue, stuff like that. But it also has this advantage of making it, I mean, I haven't got my bamboo on it yet, but you have. But it does give it that bit of movement as well if you're going out on a parade, which is kind of nice because the material's flexible and it's nice to use that in it. So, next bit, if you notice what I've done, you can't really see here, but there's a shape that runs down. What I'm going to do, put some white behind it so you can actually see it. So you begin to see what kind of shapes they are if you look behind. Yeah, they're kind of wovenish shapes. It's hard to tell with that nice colourful background, but so I'm going to do a few of them and then we're going to get cracking with the glue. Because it's nice to use some of these curvy shapes as well when you get into it, as well as, you know, making it round. So a lot of people, the first experience of making this is to make like a flat triangular shape, which is lovely. But I've got two ends of willows, or withies as we call them. Now, the top end is really thin and graceful. So I've done all my withy making from the top down. So you get thin to thick each time. And it does look quite nice on some of these shapes. So what I'm going to do, because I've done, where am I up to? It's hard to see. Oh yeah, just need, you see, I don't know if you can actually see. What can I put behind me that'll work? Well, I'll just persevere on, and hopefully you can make it out as we're going along. So right, first of all, put that down now. Get yourself some tape. You want about 8 pieces of tape, or about that big. And then when we come to cover it, these shapes will show through when the light is on it. There's 4, and there's 5, 6. That'll do. So you have, that's a bit rubbish. There's a good one. So take the 2 ends, there and there. Stick that in there so it's not going anywhere. Can you see? Yeah. Get the 2 ends right to the top and wrap it round. That's a bit of a big piece of paper now. I'm going to make a bit of a mess. That's much too big. Tear it off. So I've got 2 pieces coming down here. I'm going to put one end over that way, like that, and then the other end I'm going to put over to the other side like that. There. I'm just wondering if we turn this round, this screen round, you'd be able to see a bit clearer against a wall. Maybe. So I've got these things sticking out here. We're going to bring them back in. So we're going to bring them back into here, which is the point all the way along. That one's going in there nicely. Wrap them quite tight, otherwise they end up looking like great big, I don't know, tissues or something. And then this one comes back in over here, like that. So we're getting a line coming down there, and a line coming down there. Oh, it's a bit small. Let's see if it does. So that goes on there like that. Then, after going in again, they both go back out again. Now this bit is a little bit tricky. It wants to go right over there, but flex it a bit, like we did before. Go easy on it. This is a gentle, slow process. And that one goes in there. If your withies are a bit slippy, that means they're a little bit too wet. You want them damp, you know, from your bath or wherever. I usually put them in the bath the night before. So there we go, that goes into there. So it's gone from there, down to there, across to there, and down to there. This one gone from there, down to there, down to there, and across. There. So it just makes nice little rounded tear-like shapes. Ooh, I haven't bent that, so it's a bit hard. There we go. And then this bit flares out again, so it should go back over there. I'm going to quickly do that because that's not necessary for me to get dead smart over that, but if you want to, you may. So that bit goes back out over there. Oops, that's a bit of a mess. Just tell me to stop and show you if you know, if it's not clear or my hands are always in the way, you see. Could do with some transparent fingers. So that's the shape of it. I've chosen, if you're going to do a design because you've done it even numbers, then something that takes in two shapes will work. If you do it for three, it might not work, but it might work if you've done it because 12 goes into 3 and 4. So remember to count them as you're going across. The other thing that I've done with these, what was it? Oh yeah, just to make a simple arc shape that goes there. I missed it out on that one and then did it on that one. Missed it out on that one, did it on that one. Yeah, they don't have to all follow suit, but I think symmetrical is quite nice for things like this. Does anyone want any further info about that? Silence is golden, that's good. So I'll plonk it back on its stand. And I think I'll get out of this corner because I'm a bit trapped. Let me go back over here. Now for the messy bit. Oh no. So, put these withies away on the floor. Yeah, Musgrove willows, they're about 25 quid for a great big pile of them. We'll never need another withy again. So, first things first, little cup of tea. Ooh.
That is little.
Yeah, it is. It's an egg cup. It's my flask. I always bring it in because I don't want to particularly use the kitchen, and you know, we have got to be careful about infection, haven't we, and stuff.
Very true, very true.
Mm. So anyway, there you go. That's my lipstick doing there. Oh, I'll tell you what. Might have to have a sweetie as well while I'm going along. Right, I have glue. Might as well move your secateurs away from the glue and put the safety catch on. Sleeves up, all that kind of thing. So, I'm more of a let's make it out of wood person than let's do everything super neat. But if you've ever done any tailoring or anything like that, making a pattern on something, this is for you. Now I'm going to use a big felt tip for this so you can see it properly from your screen. But you can just use what you can see, really. So I'm going to use, right, that probably won't quite fit annoyingly, but it's nearly there. So let's see if I can show you. I'm going to make it in sort of segment shapes, I think, because I think that'll work quite well. You can do it in any way you want. You can wrap it that way and have all the lines going horizontal, but I quite like the idea of using these segments. But as Bob Ross says, do what you want, basically. It's your thing. So I'm gonna, because we don't want huge overlaps. A few's fine. Which is where you could do with another pair of hands. So I'm just going to basically get rid of the corners, I think. I think that'll do. Alright. So, if I cut them and then show you what I'm doing, I would have to have chosen the bluntest scissors in the place. Oh, they're terrible. Might as well tear it with my teeth. Yep. Right. Another corner. So basically you've made a shape that's basically not got that many corners all over it. You'll make a decent job of it. I should really, if you've got any bits of felt tip on it, that will show up. Get rid of it. Or you can disguise it later with some more tissue. You take your chances though. But for my thing, I'm just going to leave it on. Oh, come back, it's floated off. You should have some PVA in your kit. And you've probably got... Right, keep your glue away from your tea. That's really essential. You don't need to put milk in your tea. So, what I've done is I've let mine down a bit because I think I've given you a 50-50 mix. And when I tried that on this earlier one, it's nice, but it could be just that bit tighter and it would look really pretty. Obviously it's not decorated or anything yet. But if you put a bit more water in it, you'll have it like that. Yeah. Now, first thing to do, on your table, which you've hopefully put that piece of plastic that I gave you, put that on it, tape it down at the side so if you don't tape it down, it just goes flying all over the place when you, when you're gluing. So, 2 pieces of tape here and there. Get your sponge. generously whack it all over the table. Moving your scissors away so your scissors don't get full of it as well. Right. There we go, all over the shop. Take your piece, plonk it down. If you don't wet the table, it just sticks to the table. And that's very sad when it does that, if you don't want it to. So the reason I've let down all the glue is that it'll have a lot of more water in it than glue. So when it dries, it'll contract more because there's less actual stuff in it, and you'll have stretched it that bit more as well. Obviously not a very scientific explanation. So when you're getting hold of this stuff, it's kind of, you want to get hold of it in the way you're going to offer it up to the object. So I'm going to lift it that way, even though it would be better to lift it the other way, if you see what I mean, because it might, I'm going to just put it on. So I'll have a look at where, you might as well just put it on, that's it. So we've got it just there. There's a little hole in it there, drat. So with these pieces, what I'm going to do is I've realised I've made them a little bit big, and that's what's kind of nice about this, is you can go, that bit needs tucking in there. Tell you what, I'll just snip that. I need some decent scissors. These are rubbish. So what you want to do is turn it underneath. Get a bit closer so you can see. So that bit there, that can go under. And you really want to make sure that you're not just folding it over the twig, you're actually pushing it right round that part there. And if you get all, there you go. Get all one line all the way down done, squash it right to the back. Now, if I had some decent scissors, I'd cut it there. This is rubbish. See? No, nothing. There. Cut. So you see where I've got that twig coming out? That's where I created that little, I don't know, would you call it a dart in tailoring? These I just scrunched over, but that one I gave a dart to. And you can tell on the other side whether it's stuck down, because you can kind of follow the line all the way along at the back, which is important. So I'll just finish off this last little bit up here. Now, I think I'm going to follow that line and push, but we also need to cut it about there, because otherwise it will scrunch all round there and look slightly ugly. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't, just because I'm feeling lazy that day. But yeah, it's better to cut it where there's a fork in the road, basically, and then go round and round and round and round. And then you can look at it from the inside too. If you look at it from the inside, you can see where it's splitting off from the main event, and just pat it back in. After a while, your hands will get sticky and everything will just stick to your hand, so you just have to go and wash your hands then. So yeah, that's one side done. Now for the other. Now you'll get a kind of bunching, which you get with any fabric unless it's made of lycra on a round surface. Basically, don't worry about it. It'll be okay. It'll just stretch on the system and it'll incorporate it. It'll be fine. Now, on these edges again, time to do a bit of snipping. And so other people might have different ways of doing this. This is just the way I was taught and the way I've just developed it a little bit. So yeah, so that bit's gone up there. And then this bit seems to, oh, I don't need to cut it there, I'll just tuck it under. It's already got a line there. And please feel free to just interrupt and say, what are you doing? I can't see. Right, there we go, that's cut to there. Now this one, I think I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to tuck that bit in at all, but I will tuck this bit in to give it a bit more strength. So try and keep it kind of taut. You will have a laugh doing this. I had a laugh doing this the first time. It just went all over the shop. So there we go, up to there. Yeah, just be kind to yourself if you just make a big tissue paper thing. You've got quite a lot in your pack, so don't worry about, you know, anything too bad. Right, and this bit is just a bit of spare. I'm going to get rid of that. If you have like 4 or 5 layers, it gets, so it's not super luminous anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten that by holding it there so it doesn't all come off because it's still damp, and pulling that around. If you've got any little untight bits, now's the time to swoosh them like that over there. I'm sure there are loads of other ways you could find of doing this on the internet. This is just one way. So we've got one piece sort of quite tight, so when that gets dried we can do all sorts of other decorations on it as well. I'm going to do another one. It's going to be a morning of my hands are feeling all sticky straight away. It's going to be a morning of doing this, so any questions, any chatting you want to do, just feel free. There is, oh yes, I did want to tell you there's one way of doing it where instead of doing both sides, you know, turning both sides over, just do one side, let it fall, do the next one underneath it. So it's like a kind of waney lap fence all the way across. But I just kind of do it in a slightly higgledy-piggledy way, according to what I think. So, let's go through that again. I think you've got big pieces of paper. I think you've probably got lots of quite large pieces of paper in your thing. You'll notice that this is really tough. It's not like normal. Let's try and rip some. It's not like normal tissue paper, this. More than 4-ply. It's really hard to break. But you will notice that it does have, like newspaper, it has a direction that tears and a direction that doesn't particularly like to tear, which can be useful when you're thinking of which way round you want to cut this shape, because if I'd cut it the other way I would have been able to just tear some little pieces off, but I cut it the wrong way round because all the paper lines follow that line. Just a little thing. So I think I know what I'm doing with this basic shape, which is to turn this rectangle, which I think was about 1/3 or 1/4 of the piece of paper that you've got. I'm going to turn it into another leaf shape. Like so. you can see that even. So I think I know what I'm doing with that. Now I'm going to get it all on the gluey table, which is where it gets all complicated, and use this rubbish knife. Scissors. Not too bad if you really squeeze them together. Snip. Snip, snip, snip. And snip, snip, snip. Like so. Someone sent in a picture of the work. I mean, God, I wish I could. I don't know if she's been practicing or done it for ages. But it took me a long time to get things so that they didn't end up wonky and a bit bloated one side. I think it's because I didn't realise that the thickness of the material has, and it going to something thin has a really big impact on the shape of it. And basically getting things so that they're really damp. Somebody coming in. Right, I've gone and... So yeah, another tip. When you're picking up, pick up from the corners and put your hand as flat as you possibly can on the rest of it. So you're holding up as much as possible. Oh no! And then move that round slowly with your elbow. Come here. Right, so I'm going to have to go around this way. There we go. And give it an overlap of an inch or so. Splat. I don't know if you can see. So it's sort of draped, and what we're going to do is we're going to get this line to go down here, but we also want it to pull tightly over here. It's just small adjustments, but particularly over the middle part of it, the widest part, make sure that's firmly sort of stretched. I'm making a bit, it's dripping all over the table, never mind. And I can't quite reach over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off and pull it over to that side because I've not cut it to quite the right shape. Now, here, you've got a baggy bit. And we don't want to just make a load of scrunches there. And you see that piece of bagginess. So we're going to put a dart in it and then fold it over itself so it's not just loads of wrinkles. So I got distracted then, somebody louder just came into the building. He's a character. Oh, I think I've cut it a bit too much. So there it's cut in two pieces. And now what I'm going to do is pull it as tight as you dare over to the other side. And then this one, just check it's all down at the bottom. Pull that tight and up and over your other one. The less wrinkles the better, but if it's wrinkled it's not the end of the world. Ooh. There. Created a little baggy bit there because I pinched it slightly in, so I'm going to take that off because it's still possible to do that while it's wet and redo that bit underneath to get it really tight. And then up. Yeah, that's better. There's no harm doing it again. And down to here. So that part down here, that needs a little hudge up. There we go. I mean, a couple of little creases are fine, but you don't want a great big dob of it, do you? So I'll go around here. Yeah, that will go to about there. So I'm not putting anything on. I'm not sort of making anything permanent straight away. I'm just sweeping it away from that side, which is already attached. So if you just sweep it gently across. Ooh, yeah, pull that bit up there. So where you see it sort of going baggy, pull it in the opposite direction. And when it's got so much bag in it that it needs a cut, you better cut it, I suppose. That bit's a bit ugly, I'm going to get rid of that. I hate my scissors. Get off, flapping about. And then, yeah, there's tight. There we go. And this can be quite frustrating. You know, if you've got shaky hands, it can be annoying. The most annoying thing is not having it on a stand, I think. Falling all over the floor and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I took that in at the top there. And we can see from the inside if anything's not stuck down. Oh, another handy thing is do these pieces so you can actually get your hands inside. Because otherwise you'd be stuck. There we go. Nice. Sometimes it takes quite a few goes at. They can be quite stubborn at sticking to themselves, but sticking to every single other thing. These things. Right. And I'm going to put a bit around that bubbly bit at the top that's a bit messy. So there we go. It's sort of 2/3 done, I think. That bit, all these little flappy bits, you'll have to sort of smooth down from the inside. I can see one over there that needs smoothing in. There we go. There we go. Right, oh yeah, and another thing, try and keep, hold on, I'll put myself in camera. It seems really obvious, but it happens every time I do a workshop with Withys. I do it, everyone does it. They get a mess all over the tissue paper, the nice clean tissue papers. Try and keep the clean stuff well away from the table. But, you know, because it's just a waste if it goes to waste, really. Some people, if you like, you can decorate these with felt tips if you want before you put them on, but that was a kind of a random approach. I prefer to decorate once things are on. So here I am making my Terry's chocolate orange segment. There's another sponsorship deal gone through the window. There's no Terry's orange sponsorships for me. Trimming that. Is somebody having a go? Yes. And then on this side, like so. Sticky. Like that. Right, put all these little quarterly bits to one side. And remember to keep the bottom of your table really wet with this stuff as well. Yeah, get your tissue absolutely drenched because then you're putting it on when it's at its most stretched, so then it should go and fall together. Right, I'm going to do this part here next. So instead of picking it up and going all the way round, what I'll do is I'll pick it up over there. Always thinking. Right, anything come off? That's come off a bit. get back on. Right. So let's have another go. So when you're picking it up, most people find really difficult. Spread your fingers as wide as you can so that you don't make it fold in half. Obviously, if it folds in half, put it back and just redo. I'm going to go to there. Yeah, so we've got a little bit of a wriggle room on it and up to there. So there's the edge. Let's follow the edge about an inch overlapping the other one. Can you see that? Yeah. And then when we get to there, we get to this flappy bit that we had on the other side. So make it go straight all the way down the middle. There, from there, right down to there. And then from the, it's come off. From there to there. And then from there to there. Stay. Yes. Pull that bit up. I've got a bit of bagginess developing. Don't panic. We're gonna cut that off somewhere up there. Might as well do it in one piece rather than a few little V shapes. And there's some there, so pull that up. Yeah, that's where it's going to be. That little V shape cut out. The rest of it seems okay. Pull that tight. Pull that tight down there. Pull that up slightly there. So we've got two, as we had before. Two baggy bits either side there and there. Now you will get that because that is a straight piece of paper and this is a curved thing. So if you missed it before, here it is again. Cut there. Tighten it. Really tight and roll it over itself. That's a little bit of a... Now this one, really tighten up. Gently pat it through. And they look fine if they've got wrinkles, actually. I'm just showing you how to do it without wrinkles. So, same thing this side. Got a wobbly bit there. Let's do this. Snip, snip. So with the bottom part of that, let's go diagonally up and right. Yeah. Touching as much of other surfaces as you can. Then with this bit, go diagonally bottom right. Oh, still a bit baggy there, never mind. You'll have more time to sort that out. Oh look, there's a baggy bit up here. You will see them occasionally popping out. And sometimes people get the sponge rather than the fingers, especially when your fingers start getting all sticky and dry. That's when it starts attaching to your fingers and not the thing. So you can just, like when you're wallpapering, just smooth it in the direction you want it to travel. Do you remember wallpapering years ago? Much easier with paint, isn't it? Right. Anything unclear so far? Clear as mud? Silence is golden. Fantastic. Kelly, how are you getting on? Oh, flipping heck! She's finished. First past the finish line. Hey, you're on mute. You're on mute, Kelly. Oh yeah, don't touch. Yeah. Safety tip number 3. Do not go all over the apple mat with you.
There we go. Did it with a tissue.
Ah, you see.
I've still got a bit left to do.
Flipping heck, I'm going to catch up with Kelly. Quick. They tend to sell these really tough tissues just in white because everyone goes over them in a different colour. And why not have them white? It's less damaging, isn't it, for the environment and stuff. Mind you, yeah, unless they bleach them. So, another kind of shape I like is this. Me and Kelly are in a race. Right, come on, Kelly. Catherine was getting a bit of a shift on last time as well. She'd, I think she'd nearly finished her withy structure by the end of it. Snip, snip, snip. And snip, snip. So, oh, I didn't glue underneath, but it's still wet enough. When you're gluing as well, start from the middle, go to the corner, start from the middle, go to the other corner. So you're doing an X shape, and that way you'll get fewer wrinkles, like when you're pasting wallpaper. Nice and wet, don't spare the horses. Oh, I'm dripping it onto Leon's office floor, never mind. No one will tell him, will they? I said, will they? Right. Oops. It seems to have gone a little bit diagonal now, which is interesting. So I'm going to put a little patch piece in there later, and I'm going to start again. There's a new section coming down here. Right. Up. Where did I say? I think I said there. Yeah. How many times, Kelly, have you done this loads before? I'm just trying to get you to get glue all over everything.
I know you are. We did it with the Illuminate Festival, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't as structured as this.
Yeah.
And you had small pieces that you just slapped anywhere, just as long as it attached.
Yeah.
We didn't do round, and we didn't do it where you cut like a tailor's dummy sort of thing.
Yeah.
They could just overlap all over the place. It wasn't.
Yeah. You can overlap.
Some of it has overlapped all over the place. It's not as tidy looking as yours. But
I think TV makes it look neater than it is.
right, well, I've got to please a 6-year-old, that's all.
Exactly. And layers can give it a nice effect, actually. Lit effect. Because if you have it super clean, it tends to look like something you bought from IKEA if you're not careful. But if you've got these
some of the festival, instead of having the community make the actual frame and decorate it with this and then the patterns, they buy them lamps, them circular lanterns from IKEA.
Yeah.
So, and then they just decorate them.
Yeah.
So some people are going around with them with this perfect like sphere with shapes on, and then the rest of us are going around with these handmade things that are just willy-nilly. But it all adds to it, doesn't it?
It's nice to have a variety, isn't it? And some people are scared of making, or they're not very good at it. They just want a bit of decoration.
So they do the shapes, stick them on, and then they're happy, aren't they? And kids are happy.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's about, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Having a good time with it all, having fun. There's no right way, is there? So, talking about slapping it on, I'm going to have to catch up with this hare that we've got here, who's very fast. So instead of cutting it, what you can do is make a pin tuck or something like that. So you just fold it over itself, rather than, scrunching it, for example. So down we go. Oof. and then follow the central line down the middle, then pull either side straight. It's actually quite handy to have your thumb there, I've just realised, because otherwise it slides about quite a lot. Pull that section straight there. And with this, instead of a cut, I'm going to do a dart. Saves loads of time. I'm just showing you the different ways, I suppose, you can do it. And up here, there's not that much, I think because it's got wet, it's kind of soaked and pulled that bit, which is kind of great. But we do have a little tuck there. I've been thinking about what presents to buy a 5-year-old for Christmas. A little lad it is. So I've just decided on a dinky toy. Have you got all your presents? Oh, she's gone. There we go. There we go. And down and round that bottom bit. The bottom bit is something that quite a lot of you will be seeing because you'll be up there. Right, I think that's nearly done. Oh, that bit's come off. It'll need one piece there, 2 pieces, and a bit of faffing around the edge down there, I think. Yeah, one thing, if you don't put it in a plant pot or anything like that, you leave it on the table to dry, it's going to be stuck to the table, I'm afraid. So make sure it's propped up somewhere, or even better, swaying about somewhere while it dries. It won't take long to dry, it's only thin. Yeah. Let's get another one done.
No, Mel, I haven't got all my Christmas presents sorted.
Haven't you? I've bought one. I've just bought my nephew, who's about 5. It just reminded me because she said you've got a 6-year-old.
Yeah, she's a girl. They're really easy to buy for.
I think boys are harder to buy.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I've just bought a present for my friend's little boy, and he's 4, but he's mad into Sonic the Hedgehog. So I've bought him a Sonic the Hedgehog t-shirt because I thought that was easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
But if you go in any of the toy shops, the boys aisle has 1, the girls aisle have 5. Completely unreal, the stuff you can get for girls.
I've not been to any of those places for ages, but it's very marked how you can really tell which is for what's for boys and what's for girls, can't you?
Yeah.
If you
Not
want to
that we
conform-
really agree with that. If she wanted an action man or a car, she can have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we should really be trying to conform to the stereotypes.
No,
Yeah,
well, we don't.
And all
We have dinosaurs.
all the girls' aisles are pink, aren't they? Very pink.
I think pink's a
Touch
holly
of
colour.
lavender. I think when I was little, I was lucky enough to have a Cindy. I didn't quite like the Barbie as much. It seemed sort of square and a bit aggressive. But I had a Cindy doll that was nice. And I also had an eagle-eyed action man.
Oh yeah, I had one of those.
The little thing at the back of the head.
Yeah. And I had one as well where you pulled a cord and he said random sort of military kind of phrases. Oh yeah, I love that. You can't go wrong with Lego.
You can't go
If you
wrong.
don't buy Lego.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Oh, yay.
Finished. Nice from Kelly. Let's have a look. Oh, it's all done. Let's have a look at the bottom. Is it all turned on under? Yes, it's perfect. Fantastic. There we go.
But I've not had to talk and describe everything to everybody else, have I?
That's no excuse. I'm in the sin bin for that. That's terrible. Right. Oh, folded under and things like that? That mine tends to a bit. Did you just do it on the table?
It's just on the floor,
Yeah.
just so you can I can balance it on the floor and just it's high enough for me.
Yeah.
On the
And just
table,
twirl it around.
it would have been there.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, that's a good idea. As long as it doesn't stick to the carpet.
No, it's not on the carpet. Not on my pink carpet.
Oh no. Have you ever thought about how you're going to decorate it? Are you going to decorate it with your daughter?
I don't know. Is that not what we're doing next week?
Yeah.
Or she'll still be at school.
Oh. You can record it, I suppose. Yeah, when does school finish?
Next Friday, 18th.
Oh well. So
Our school has 3 weeks off.
Oh, you got 3 weeks off then, or
Yeah.
2?
3. So instead of going back on the 4th, we go back on the 11th.
Mm. Well, it's a long time.
This isn't to do with COVID. This was
Right.
just, it was a new headmaster.
Who thinks, 3 weeks at Christmas and 1 off at summer?
I don't know what I think he's done. Instead of it being 6.5 in the summer holidays, I think it's 5.5.
Yeah. Oh well.
Fine, it makes no difference to us.
No, I don't think it makes any difference particularly. I think sometimes the summer
Especially the way things are at
holidays
the
can be
moment.
massive. Sorry.
I said, especially the way things are at the moment.
Oh yeah. Can't do anything, can you?
No.
I remember summer holidays always seemed to last forever. That 6 weeks when you started. But I always thought it was cruel that you wouldn't get a week into the summer holidays when all the department stores had the big signs that were saying back to school because they were trying to sell all the school supplies for the coming term. I thought that was just so cruel.
Yeah. I don't think when I was little, back in the 19th century, there wasn't that much to do. There wasn't, kids have got quite a lot to entertain them these days, haven't they? I think I mind, yeah.
Well, I had a train set and lots of Lego.
Lego.
So I was well catered for. I used to love the Christmas holidays. I can remember because during the day I had there was reruns of the old black and white Flash Gordon, which I really loved, and the Christmas lectures, the Royal Institution, which I was fascinated by. Yeah,
they're great, aren't they? I really enjoy those, just because they're actual physical physics, isn't it? And you get to see an explosion on the telly.
Our chemistry teacher was notorious for blowing stuff up, usually himself.
So before you put your last one on, check underneath for any bits and pieces that might not, might be flapping about. Yeah, Flash Gordon. That was on telly yesterday. I watched 10 minutes of it and then turned it off.
What was that? Was it the relatively modern one with the Queen soundtrack, or was it some of the?
It's the Queen version.
I tell you what, we did. We loved that film. I think we were secondary school at the time, and I think we went back into Manchester and watched it again about 3 or 4 days in a row. We loved it. Well, we like Queen, so
Oh, Flash go! Right, I'm going to go around the bottom, and using all my little surplus pieces, stick them in. Stick them down, twirl it round. They're quite tough, these. I've screwed them up, but I've just unscrewed them and they're fine. Plonk a bit on there. How are we doing for time?
I was just about to say, actually, it's 3 minutes past 11, so we're doing well.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
We've got like an hour left and we've nearly done.
No, we normally finish about 11:30, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yes, that's right. But we'll be all right. It's quite hard to judge these workshops sometimes, because sometimes you think, right, we'll get all the sticks done straight away in the first lesson, and then, you know, because you've got to let the glue dry. You can't, you know, there has to be a space in between putting this on. Oh, that's too small.
Can I just check while everyone's here? Mel, did you put secateurs in the packs for the lanterns? Has everyone got secateurs?
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
Got
great.
some.
Yeah, just because Lizzie, who's doing the wreath making workshop, wanted to check. So hold on to your secateurs because you'll need those for that. So I can let her know.
Oh, great.
I thought you did, but I just wanted to double check.
Yeah. We've got 7 secateurs from ages ago when we did, me and Lizzie did this creative carnival thing here at the Vale, where we basically learnt how to do loads and loads of stuff. We made things out of withies. I'm going to turn this upside down because it's easier. Yeah, the secateurs are left over from that. One of the things that we did after we'd done this, papered it, was we got some muslin, got that all wetted and cut into small pieces, and the muslin makes it really, really strong. And then if you put some waterproof varnish over the top of that, it's pretty rock hard, to be honest. So that was something that that's a way of using Withy puppets year after year. Because you can imagine if this goes into a van, it's going to get poked and all the rest of it. But if you've got material on the outside of this as well, even if it does go through, the weaving stops it just going, you know, tearing really badly. So I'm going to put that there. Oh, that's too big. I'm going to make it a bit thinner. Like that. There we go. You've got torches as well. I don't know what the batteries are like on them, but they were from one of our lantern mostly turn-on things. So, yeah, they should be quite bright enough. There's a few settings on them as well. Obviously, you can buy your own. You can buy loads of different things lighting-wise these days, can't you? All sorts of multicoloured. There we go. So what I'm doing now. Hey, so have you done a lantern, or are you just watching for the present? Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute, Sophie. Put it on. Button. Can't hear you. Sophie, can you just tell her to unmute herself?
I've asked So to unmute. There we go.
Okay.
Hey, couldn't hear you. Hiya.
I have done a skeleton of a snowman. I didn't follow your shape, and I was found that the willow is the elasticity is not so good, because when you do some small things, you can't make it round.
Yeah.
And I have to adjust because there's a festival in Chinese tradition. There's a mid-autumn festival. We all make lanterns. This is the first time I use the willow. We don't use willow in Chinese tradition. We use bamboo, very thin bamboo, and then the
Yeah.
elasticity is very good, better than this one. So I have to adjust my skeleton. I can
Yeah.
show you my skeleton I have done. It's quite big.
Nice bookcase for a start.
This one.
Oh wow.
I am going to make a snowman, a lantern snowman to light it in Christmas. So I'm not following your shade, but
No, don't.
I found that it's quite difficult to make small circle on the top with the willow. So
It is.
I'm going to try another material. This way,
Yeah.
this one may be softer, that I can put it at the top. That's
Yeah.
my idea.
Perfect. Yeah. All sorts of soft florists wire, things like that for the really. That's what we did with the giant's hands when we made a big giant. Because imagine making a finger out of willow.
Yeah.
Anything
But
small, anything smaller than that is a faff, isn't it?
yeah, too easy to break the willow if you do some delicate thing.
Yeah.
It can be. that's why I frustrated when I do it.
It is frustrating. It's like, but you can also use the very top, the thinnest piece, rather than the thickest piece.
But
But
the
even
best
still,
is strong. It's not strong enough, I think.
no, because that there is really thin. So
Yeah.
you might as well just do it out of a piece of wire. If you've got the wire, is
Yeah,
it
I got the wire.
aluminium?
Yeah, aluminum.
Yeah, and that's a mix of wire and willow is a great idea. How's I've never used green bamboo. I've only
Not
used bamboo as
bamboo.
straight.
They cut the bamboo in a very thin one. I don't know how to say it in English.
Split.
very thin, long one. So
Strips. Yeah.
electricity is really good. You can do any shape.
Yeah. And can you make?
And
Do you make baskets out of them? Bamboo.
yeah, do it. And
Yeah.
we don't use this tape. We use another kind of paper.
Oh, what's it called now?
The very thin paper. We can
Yeah.
cut it into strips and then tie it. It's very strong.
Is it a bit elastic?
Yes, there's an elastic in the paper. You can tie it.
I've used it. I can't remember the name of it.
I don't know the English name. I only know the Chinese name.
Go on, tell us. I'll write it down. I would know where to start. We'll have a look for it later. I'm sure if I looked up Chinese tape, I'd find it again. Is it a bit pricey?
I don't know. I even don't know where to buy it in England. Maybe in some Chinese shop. I haven't tried to buy it here.
I suppose you could try Fred Aldous or just the internet. Oh, what's it called, that tape? You can also, because this tape, you can see the white blobs all over the place, can't you? And that will grow less as this becomes less translucent. But one of the things you can do is hide that shape with the tissues and the design that you use. But yeah, one of the ways to use, I think it's washi tape. No, it's not. It's wish.
I don't know.
Not
It's
that.
washi tape.
Wish.
It is washi, Mel.
What's it called? Is it Chinese?
Yes, it's Chinese, but I don't know the English name.
Tape. Because it'd be great to. Oh yeah. Washi. It is washi tape.
Washi tape. What is that?
Masking tape. And you can get it as paper cranes. You can get it as lots of different things. You can get Chinese New Year washi tape. Yeah, so
Okay.
that's. I think that might be a brand name for it. WASHI. Cheap enough. But they
Okay.
seem to have a lot of colours with it. Decorative adhesive, Chinese style washi, porcelain. Yeah, we know about Chinese porcelain, gorgeous. Yeah, they don't look too expensive. Two or three quid per bit of tape, and you can get all sorts of different patterns. Nice. What am I doing? Oh yeah. Last little bit of tidying up, I think. Oh no, I think I might have completed it. Yeah, so just let that drip somewhere where it doesn't matter. Keep your eye on it. Try not to let the dog scratch it or anything like that. So yeah, there we go. So what I want you to, I nearly sat on that and it was covered in glue. So for next week, you can begin to see these. I can't. Moving this table, it's in exactly where you. So you can see that some of these shapes might look quite nice as actual tissue shapes, or you might want to sort of overlap some tissue colours. So, you maybe get a red and a yellow and then have an orange where they meet or something like that. I find that quite bold shapes are really quite good. But you might want to give your snowman a really good scarf, which would mean a lot of washi tape.
Whether it worked or not, I will try. I will try to stick the paper on it. Because when we make this Chinese lantern, we use different kind of paper. We can use different kind of paper to stick over it, such as
like a greaseproof, like the Australians.
this thing. This thing, there's the electricity. You can stick on it also.
Yeah,
this one.
That looks tough.
Yeah, some with some electricity, then you need not to make it wet. When you stick it, you can just pull it hard, and then it will become strict.
So it's all in one. Do you have to put glue on it, or?
You just glue the skeleton and then stick it. Stick this piece over it. It can do the same because it's very thin, and then it's transparent when you light it up.
That would be nice to look at. I knew someone from New Zealand who used the same process. They probably pinched it from you, in China because they're closer. And she said that she used this fabric that it just stuck to itself as this. It's a much longer process.
We can use fabric also, silk, the silky one.
Yeah.
Some lanterns are made of it's made of fabric also in Chinese. In
Yeah.
Chinese style, many lanterns can make of rabbit. The silky one, very thin one.
I'd like to see that. A Chinese. I suppose the rabbit is good luck, is it? It's a New Year. Well,
You
it's
can,
astrological.
usually we children play lanterns. They will take out their lanterns in Mid-Autumn Festival. every child have to have some sort of lantern. In the olden days, they light a candle inside. Now, in those days, we light a candle inside the lantern, but now we use the battery, to replace it now.
They look beautiful, floating off. Are they rabbits because of the rabbit in the moon? You know, the Chinese.
Yeah. That festival, yeah.
Yeah.
There's fairy tales about a rabbit in the moon.
Yeah. I've looked at the moon and I've gone, yeah, I can just, yeah, okay, it is a rabbit. Just about. People make it. And it's a cute thing for kids, isn't it, to do a rabbit as well? So.
Yes, they have many shapes. Some different kind of shapes for the lanterns. Not only the rabbit, many other shapes. Star, and then the most common one is the cylinder one. They throw it into and then pull it out. Do you know what?
Oh yeah, a concertina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can make it hang and then pull it out.
I've seen a lot of quite nice umbrella shapes as well as lanterns, like a jellyfish type thing.
Many. Yes, there are many different kind of shapes. They can do different kind of animals, rockets, aeroplane. They can do many things.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to use the Chinese material rather than this willow. It is quite difficult.
I'm going to have to go with that because this is all I've ever done, this kind of paper. So I don't know how badly off I am, do I? Until I get hold of your paper.
This is a Western style of lantern. I'm really happy to learn that because I don't know Western people make lanterns. Oh,
well, we all do it a bit differently, don't we? According to what, like you in China, there's bamboo. In Britain, there's willows.
Yeah,
you know, we use what there is. You might use rice paper. We might use wood chip paper. You know, it's about the land, isn't it? In a way, the tradition, the materials.
Yeah, the material is different, but it's all right.
Well, I'm glad you like it.
I'm happy to know more about it. Yeah. And
that snowman's massive. It's going to be a good.
Because I want to make some sort of Christmas decoration.
Are you having it? Obviously, you'll have it inside somewhere.
Yeah. So I'm thinking how to make it easier. So I'm not going to stick.
I'll tell you a really easy way of doing it, which doesn't involve this process, is to get some, and it involves plastic, unfortunately, but you can get plastic that is shrink wrap, basically shrink wrap, and you wrap it in the shrink wrap, and then you just hairdryer it taut. And as long as you haven't got any sharp bits sticking out, you can just have a plastic sheen all over it, and then you can apply things to the plastic.
Yeah.
That is that's helped me make great big things, because this process is a sort of delicate process. But if you're into making great big snowmen, then you could wrap it. I'll have a look at, because I don't think the normal cling film works. So I think if you warm that with a hairdryer, it just goes and separates.
Yeah.
But it might be a really good way of creating different lights and different translucencies. Like if that was transparent and you used your washi tape or other, the other sort of material you were talking about, you could put that on in different areas and the rest of it wouldn't have to be white or a background colour at all.
Like
So you could do icicles and things like that.
Okay.
Go on, Sophie.
I was just going to say, like how Gordon did his swans. They've released the video of that. I can share it actually.
Oh, yeah.
I've just found it here. Let me see if I can share my screen. Hang on.
I used to have my parents used to have a lamp, and it was kind of tall, and oh, what happened there? Oh, it's
I was just about to play Gordon's video. It's
no,
only
you carry on then.
it's only 30 seconds.
Is that stand for pod?
That's the boating lake.
Yeah, I thought so.
So you can see how it helps to have that translucent layer. The patches within, he was using metal, like I think it's aluminium rather than sprung wire. Sprung wire is pain, don't touch it. So it was like a 1.6, 1.2 mil, and just made a cross hatch out of everything. Put some bamboo things in so it didn't sag all over the place. Maybe triangulated it a bit, and then as you can see, it's what it is. You wrap it around it. It's quite addictive actually, getting this nice tight sort of surface on the cling filmy type stuff.
Yeah, so is it like kind of stuff you use if you want to sort of do double glazing on the cheap, and then you stick it round and then put a hairdryer on it?
That's it.
Yeah.
So what I can do next week is we can decorate our stuff, using different translucencies, and I'll put the lights on so you can sort of see different effects. And I'll get my old, I think my old demo one of these, and I'll put I'll mix some of Gordon's cling film basically, and show you how it works, and give you the details of how to find it, because it might be a technique that you decide to use or not, but it's just another one of them. And so have you got any pictures of work that you could maybe show us? So
about the lantern or what?
Well, anything you think might interest us. What I'm really interested in is that paper that just sticks to everything. What's it called?
I don't know. There are so many materials that I don't know the English name. That's the problem.
I can't remember the name of the cling film. But if you
we use different kind of material we can use for making lanterns.
Yeah.
That's why. Maybe I show you next week. I have tried to find out the English name of it.
That would be lovely. Yeah, that'd be really good.
I'd be really interested in using it and finding out, you know,
Yeah.
I'm obviously missing something because it's such an easy process if it just sticks to it like that. I want to find out all about it.
Yeah, there's some material is just it's a kind of paper, but they have different colors, just like a plastic sheet. Do you know that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to find out next week.
Yes, you
I show you. Okay.
You don't have to. Don't worry. I don't want you. But if you do have time, I'm just really interested. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Has anyone else got any questions today for Mel or for anyone else?
I was talking about that land. There was, I think my parents bought it back somewhere from the Far East. It was like a table lamp, and it was made of wood, bamboo, and some kind of translucent paper, but decorated, looked very natural. It was like a straight up
Yes,
and down.
the transparent paper, but with different colors.
This was white, but it was decorated with twigs and bamboo around the outside of it, and it lit up from the inside. Unfortunately, I don't have it anymore. I don't know where it went, but it was, you know, it was quite beautiful, but it was all natural things on it, and it was really beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't know where it was, from somewhere in the Far East, but I don't know where.
I believe that we can buy it some material in here, but I don't know the name. That's the problem.
We will use what we've got for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And before we go, because I've just realised we're just running a slightly short. We don't have to use tissue paper. You can use anything that will stick with glue. On your object. You know, if you've got loads of glitter and you want to glitter it up, let's go for it. If you want to do beetroot prints on it, if you want to collect some skeleton leaves and have it.
That's what I wanted to do.
What, sorry?
I said that's what I wanted to do. That's what I had when I was.
Unfortunately, I haven't seen many about. They've all just turned to mush.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, I have to buy some.
But think paper. They could be cut out shapes. You could decide to do, you know, that technique about zigzagging things over and then making them into little people. You can do a nice little line of
or
that.
Snowflakes.
What's that?
Or snowflakes.
Snowflakes. I was coming to snowflakes, but they beat me to it. But yeah, we can do lots of beautiful geometric shapes with that kind of cutout shape idea. Or you could just, and you can have luminous paints, you know, if we're dealing with light. I think I've got some that can recharge in light. Anyway, have a think about things that will stick to this paper for next time. There are no rules. I just thought I'd just put some tissue in because that's just what we do. Anyone got any thoughts for next week before we sort of say ta-ra for this week?
Just one point. Don't try and use the tissue paper we use for the other lanterns, because it does not go well with PVA. It kind of.
Oh well, some tissue. I'll tell you a technique about that. Yeah. I've given you really rubbish tissue so that you will learn this process, and all will be revealed next week. But in the meantime, Kelly, do you want to say anything before we're going? Let's have a look at your stuff again.
I'm fine.
Don't let it stick to the floor.
No.
That's gorgeous.
Need
That's
to
going to be
put
really
it
nice,
up
and
a
it's
bit.
tight enough. It's tight enough, and it we'll slink
Get the
through
eating
that,
on,
I'm
don't I?
sure. That's one excuse, yeah. Yeah, it'll definitely dry in a day or so, I'm sure, unless it turns into miserable mist for some reason. Right.
Right then. Well, thanks everyone, and thanks Mel. And,
Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah, and I'll send this video out as usual. And we'll see you here next week.
That's great.
Okay.
I really enjoyed today. Thank you for
Yeah.
coming and thanks for chatting with me. 'Cause it's always nice to talk a little bit while you're doing this.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Bye.
Easy.